I didn't really give you a choice this time.
No, you don't normally, but it's fine.
I said we're going. Actually, I kind of did give you a choice. We're like 20 minutes late, so I mean, you got a little say. I got a little say. It worked out.
I'm going to go with 15, but yeah.
All right. So I've been saving something. I thought about going early to and killing some time, but I didn't want to start this topic without you.
Ooh.
And this is actually not one of the 6 things that we'll be talking about throughout the course of the show, the different news and rumors and headlines in the wrestling world.
All right.
I just came across this. So it happened a couple hours ago, but I don't follow this guy on socials. You remember the name Alberto El Patron?
I do.
Alberto Del Rio.
Alberto
Del Taco.
Alberto Del Puncho in the Face-O.
Yeah. So he's had some legal problems over the years and some drug problems over the years. And so, he's trying to do what he's trying to do. Jason, what's up, man? Missed you the last time you were live. You caught us this time.
So I'm pretty
Won't
sure
be able to watch you on my TV, though, because I'll be watching the Big Brother live. Oh, okay. I see how it is. Big Brother. Is that like the online feed that has nudity? Because I understand if that's the case. And then Nathan says, "Hi, boys."
Hi, boys.
Yeah. So anyway, Alberto El Patron at Pride of Mexico is his Twitter handle.
Of course
he decided he was going to post a picture of him looking at the WWE Championship with the caption, "One more time."
Is there a question mark?
Yeah, there is a question mark. And then eyeballs, the eyeball emoji.
Ooh, okay.
And so if you want to laugh, I'm telling you all of this info because go ahead and read the replies.
I hope it's no.
There's a lot of no's. A lot of no's.
One more time? No.
Now, there's actually more likes than replies. So maybe people actually do like it. Maybe some people are like, that's funny. Like,
yeah, right? No, so if you're that motivated, you'd say yes or C.
And then there's a lot of, the quote tweets, the tweet quotes that you can then retweet it with your own comment. You need to be in jail, absolute effing freak. How about nope? You're going to go after too many women. Stay in your lane, dude. Laughing my ass off. No, thank you. If you weren't a dog shit human being, I'd be for this. Is this before or after jail? Ain't you a criminal? I'm like, this goes on and on. There's like 600 replies, and I can't find a single, hey, I like this.
Ain't you a criminal?
No, that's okay.
Didn't he have like a Spanish Shoney's? He had his own restaurant, right?
I don't know if it was Shoney's. I mean, that's Scott Steiner's territory. You don't.
I know, but I'm using Shoney's as an example.
He did have a Mexican restaurant, yeah.
Okay.
And like that was supposed to like be some of his income while he did a startup MMA company or something, or tried to start a wrestling company with an MMA mix because he's already part of that. I can't.
It was him and Chavo, I thought.
No, I'm watching Big Brother USA. That's all the other countries that show nudity.
Why?
Ballz show a nipple. Will be better than Big Brother USA.
There's another reason.
Spanish Shoney's. I'd go for the nachos. Yeah, I mean, this is so funny. If you're on Twitter, even if you're not, I don't think his tweets are hidden. Just go and watch. The comments keep coming in. And this was posted 7 hours ago, give or take. So, don't you be beating women. You can screw off, though. Used to like you, brah, but you got to be locked under the cell. Although, okay, here's one. Here's one that's fair.
Ooh, okay.
Fair.
I
could be snarky, but the truth is WWE and Vince will give anyone another chance.
Okay.
I
mean, yeah.
So seriously, at Pride of Mexico, read it for yourself. It's
you always hear that WWE is trying to do more to get into the Hispanic market.
Yeah.
And no one has worked since Rey Mysterio. There are many reasons for that. At no point should it be pushing Del Rio for like a fourth time.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, he's had his go. maybe make sure that he's kind of turned things around a little bit. People can change. They can. Yeah. I think he probably just has a little bit more distance to go than some people, at least the average person.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't want to see him back in WWE. I don't want to see him back at all.
No, I wasn't a fan of him there. I wasn't a fan of him anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Jason's all about the nachos as well. He's right next to Taco Bell. That's dangerous. That's dangerous right there. Great Funko t-shirt. Yeah. 80 years of Captain America. Captain America. Yeah. All right. So wrestling talk, as we always do here. Big story coming out of last night's All Elite Wrestling, which was nice to have on a Wednesday night again.
It was.
Now that TNT is out of the NBA playoff game game for the season, AEW has their home back. A couple notable things from the show, really, but Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Honey Ho. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, I think so. Black.
So no chance of getting Tommy End on Devon's Table Talk, huh? We've had him on the show. We have had Aleister Black on the show before. You got to go back into the archives, but they're there. He's there. I mean, we didn't call him Tommy or Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Honey Ho, but yeah, Malachi Black. And what I think is brilliant. What I think is great is that he's continuing on with the character he was developing in WWE.
Right? That's what I was going to ask. Like, I feel like that's the part that he would get in trouble with.
The guy seriously thought I was, come on, Dante. Come on, buddy. It's Pee Wee Herman's Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Honey Ho.
I mean, you would think that continuing the character is what will get him in trouble with WWE. The different eye color contact, the mark on the face, like.
But that's not a trademarked thing, though.
And they do trademark their likenesses, though. And that's, your normal look would be fine, but the added contacts or the additional marks, that would be character. So I would be very interested to see how that works.
I mean, he added some bruises and whatnot, but if you haven't seen the video, by the way, check out the video. He decided to kind of put some pieces together of how the eye is better and whatnot. So I like this continuing on from character to character, company to company.
Yeah.
It is something we've seen before. It's been a while, but if you look back to the Attitude Era, it was quite common that somebody would come in and really kind of be the same character they were. Not all the time, but there are instances of it. So I like that. And obviously the crowd popped huge for him. The internet is ablaze for this guy. I got a couple things I want to ask about this. Right? First and foremost, how the hell did he show up so early?
I mean, if you read reports, it's a WWE contractual screw up. When he moved up from NXT to the main roster, whoever was in charge of updating his, the 90-day non-compete clause from a 30 didn't. And oops, good on him for noticing.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder how many times this has happened before, or people just didn't notice it or whatever. Or I wonder how many current main roster stars actually have a 30-day non-compete, because I mean, yes, they're still employed, but they just haven't checked their contract for the same issue.
Or somebody in the past that maybe was let go, like the Ascension probably had 30 days, but nobody just wanted to hire them, even after 90, but nobody knew. But a lot of people basically saying what Amanda's saying here. They messed up.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They done effed up. And as Dante points out, that'll change in a heartbeat now.
Oh, yeah. There's people backstage literally going through every contract right now.
And Nathan's like, he's suspicious if it was a clerical screw up or part of Zelina's return, which obviously is a part of this discussion as well.
Yeah.
A part of the arrangement of, we'll let you, I'll come back if you let him go. Maybe not quite that simplistic, but it could be along the lines of, hey, maybe if you don't try to enforce the 90 days, knowing you done screwed up this contract, I'll come and play peacefully again.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little tit for tat, I could see a little bit, but
I mean, so much for all those rumors of him coming back to WWE, by the way.
Yeah. No, I feel like, AEW they realize there's a 30-day window and they got to strike while, before WWE realizes the mistake they made. Like, before Triple H put in that, why don't you come back to to NXT call?
Right. Yeah, Dante here says that it's a clerical screw up due to the head of talent relations shakeup and change to Johnny Ace.
No.
That happened long after he got called up to the main roster. Carano wasn't on his way out until he was out. You have to trust me on that one. I might know somebody that's on the inside that said it was kind of a shock. I mean, it wasn't a shock, but it was a shock.
It was a shock, yeah. No, I mean, and Aleister Black has been on the main roster for years.
Yeah. So I don't think it was a part of that shakeup. Somebody just done screwed up.
Yeah.
And it does make you wonder who else maybe has an out like that. Was he the only one somehow? There's a lot of questions, and hopefully down the road, not right now, not this week, not this year, but down the road, hopefully he tells us, hey, this is when I noticed my contract wasn't good, and I was
right.
Yeah. So, but that's interesting. Obviously, AEW striking while the iron's hot. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's probably the best spot for him. But I ask the same question I ask every time AEW steals another talent over from a company or reaps the benefits of a released star. When do they stop adding? Like, you never stop growing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of talent that is fighting for screen time, and you have the other shows now, but you still want to be on Dynamite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To answer your question, I don't know that you do stop adding. I think seeing good available talent is good available talent, and if you feel you can use them correctly and make money off them and grow them and grow your base, I feel like you have to pick them up. Whether or not you find spot for them or someone else gets bumped back to the YouTube shows, that's kind of what happens. But I feel like
it's unfortunate if you are a young star trying to claw and scrape your way into bigger, better things. You probably have to keep clawing and scraping, unfortunately. But it's an interesting situation. This is off topic, by the way, but Casimir says he's going to be nice to you for once.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll see how long that lasts, but. And sorry, Casimir, you lost the bet. So, Rey Mysterio not champion, you're not co-hosting with us, but I'm sure we'll think of another stupid bet at some point. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of the companies. Yeah. I really kind of feel like we've been wondering why WWE is letting a lot of these stars go, or they're not embracing certain characters. Like, you and I were talking briefly. I saw a bunch of chase figures of Jeff Hardy, of all person, and it's a really good looking figure. But I'm like, I haven't cared. I haven't been invested in Jeff Hardy's character in a long time, which goes the same with almost all of their legends and veterans in WWE. Yeah. Look how many have jumped to AEW. But with WWE, like, recruiting so many young talent to Performance Center every few months now, it seems like that cycle is starting to speed up. I wonder if WWE's going back to like pre-Attitude Era mentality of, hey, let all these stars go to that other company. We're just going to build a fresh foundation. Is it right or wrong? That's a whole nother debate. But I feel like WWE's one of those, well, we're just going to go young. We have our stars. We have the Cenas that'll never go anywhere. Orton's not going to cheat on the company. And then you got Roman and some of those headliners. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, you just got young core that I think they're going to try to grow, right or wrong. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do. I do think they're not holding on to what they used to, and it is just like we heard reports that they're back looking for big dudes. The Ring of Honor era of WWE is over. Where the Daniel Bryans, Kyle O'Reillys, Adam Cole's, Johnny Gargano's, that similar, smaller, athletic body type. And now they're back looking for the land of the giants and stuff again. So I think you're looking for young, big dudes, and I think that's what they're going to try to grow now. And when ratings are down, go for the giants.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't know if it's one of the other things on your mind, but with the way that the Raw is going and WWE in general, I think they got stuff to.
It is an item that we will get to with that. Dante says, honestly, thought it was more due to money. WWE's reporting record profits.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that just doesn't click. I understand a cleanup. WWE does a cleanup of their roster every year. We call it spring cleaning as internet fans, but they're always cycling through. But with ratings hitting all-time lows and without the live events, they obviously have to make some changes. But thanks to social media, thanks to web revenue and all of that stuff, their profits are up. Stocks are,
No, and when spring cleaning happens, it's normally, and I don't want to insult the roster, but it's normally the season Ds.
Yeah.
Or NXT guys that have never even been on TV. Yeah. Like you start trimming before they make it TV. You're like, I don't see a future in this guy. I'm going to cut my losses. Or the guys that have made it to the main roster, but hang out in catering. Mm-hmm. So these cuts have been a lot of Bs. Like, you've had some of the usual suspects, but you've had a lot that were on it. This is probably the most unexpected year of, releases that I've seen.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with you there. So let's go ahead and move over to that topic. It wasn't next, but we also have a little bit of a certain name that's a debate in the comments right now.
Oh, got it. Okay.
This was the rating for Raw this week.
Ooh, okay.
1.472, a new all-time low for the flagship program.
That seems crazy.
Yeah. And it was going against the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals, which is a big one, but they didn't have that and NBA or NFL to go against. I mean, hockey's popular, don't get me wrong, but I think it goes to show I didn't finish the show.
Yeah.
I watched the tag match with Riker, Elias, R-Truth, and whoever the other person was. I watched that one because I knew Devon produced it.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm like, Elias and Riker again, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the most exciting of matches. And then after that, I'm like, well, I don't really care for the main event. There's no consequence to it. Even though I like MVP and Lashley, I like the New Day. There was no consequence. We'll see. I like Casimir's his optimism here. I'll go back up after Money in the Bank.
But why? Like, what makes you feel like it'll go back up after Money in the Bank?
Live crowds will help. That is true. And so there will be some people that probably return to watch. So I think on a very fundamental, basic level, Casimir's right. It will go up.
It will
now, it's not going to skyrocket up.
Yeah.
You need something. I think the big issue why this number right here sucks so much is because WWE apparently has a belief that nobody's bigger than the brand.
Yeah.
They don't want another Cena or The Rock leaving. And so if you're not going to make a big star, if you're going to give them a glass ceiling, if you're going to pull them back to make sure that they can't get too big, then you're not going to, why as fans are we going to get invested in these people?
I think Bully Ray said that a while ago, that's kind of the model is that WWE now will never let anyone get bigger than the WWE. And I mean, that is what it is, but I agree with you. If the stars that we connect to are the big ones, are the larger than life ones, the ones that are putting themselves out there. And if you're not
going to, how many people say that they grew up watching Hulk Hogan? If he wasn't larger than the sport, we probably wouldn't have seen that boom right there. Great comments coming in. Jen says hello. This one, as Jason points out, don't really care about the Nielsen ratings. It's all about USA network ratings, and WWE's number one as far as that goes. That's true. That is absolutely true. There's a whole conversation we can have about that as well.
Conversation,
But you don't need to watch Raw or SmackDown or NXT or AEW or Impact. Why? Because all of the highlights are online like that. And I'm not even talking like us fans doing it. They just give it to us. Why? There's no appointment watching anymore because you can immediately go on your phone and YouTube has the clip of what just happened.
Yep, absolutely.
Or if you only want to watch the clip once and you don't want to keep seeing the Raw replay over and over again, this is what happened before the break. And then right after the break, this is what happened before the break. This is what happened earlier in the show. This is what happened earlier in the show. Stop it. Stop with all the replays.
Now, here's my question: like, at what point who starts getting the blame for the low ratings? Because I mean, obviously, without knowing, I would imagine backstage they're freaking out. At what point you're like, what do we need to change? Is Lashley not connecting? Is Drew McIntyre, who's not technically in the main event now, do we need him back? Like, I mean, it wasn't great with McIntyre, but it's better than it is now.
Right.
As far as ratings go, I'm talking specifically ratings.
Sure. I'm getting spoilers. People like the New Day beat the Hurt Business. I know what happened. I just didn't watch. But I appreciate that. I always keep up. Jason has another comment about checking the results afterwards. Yeah. And I do that for all the shows. If I can't watch it or don't have the time, not interested, I'll still read the results to at least have an idea of what's going on. Great. You talk about connecting. Is it Lashley? Yeah. Is it not? The person that we were talking about before, the discussion in the comments, Braun Strowman, let a literal giant go. We talked about that a little bit ago. Braun Strowman, one of those guys that freak of nature, a great athlete, great build, great size, great presence. Was he a victim of the pandemic?
I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe. I'd also heard, and it might have been you. I don't remember that he was turning more into a diva and more hard to deal with backstage. That's
something that I had heard, that he was saying that he was bigger than the company. And we just talked about how nobody's bigger than the company.
Yeah. And let's be straight up, Braun is not bigger than the company. Like,
no. And there's nothing against Braun. I mean, he's a great entertainer. I think he's a monster that should have been champion much sooner than he actually was.
Yes.
But I think WWE's one of those, we'll call your bluff. All right. You think that you're important. You think that we need you more than you need us. Yeah. Let's find out.
Let's do this. Yeah, no, totally.
I mean, WWE's ratings are down, but not like they were like 7.0 with Braun Strowman in the main event and then down to 1.472. It is rough, but sometimes it's the stars. Again, the ones that don't want to be bigger. If you promote that The Rock's going to be back on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
Those ratings you say that Cena is going to be back on Monday Night Raw. Those ratings will go up again. Yep. How about this one? Paul Heyman stirring the pot by changing his profile picture of Brock Lesnar standing over Roman Reigns. Now, does this mean anything? No, it could just be good trolling. Heyman's great at that. But at the same time, WWE might be like, hey, Brock, ratings are down. We need you to show up, buddy. No, you don't have to wrestle. No, don't worry about that.
No.
You don't even have to talk. Just show up. You don't have to get in the ring. Just literally bounce on stage.
That's what I was going to say. If you just go.
We're going to give you another car. Just go ahead and rip that door off. Which, by the way, kids these days don't know this. They don't know what this is. What is this? I just realized how old I am by doing that. What are you doing right now? So, Brock Lesnar. Do you want to see him back? If he's back, does it make a difference? Do people pay attention?
I am not really interested. I don't know what Brock could do that would interest me at this point. I don't. I feel like unless they finally did a Lashley thing, maybe, but I don't know how long that would hold my interest either.
Right. Like, I mean, Brock right now would come in as a face most likely, which is also mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, we cheered him when he had the Money in the Bank boombox.
Yes, for like a couple weeks.
But he wasn't a face. No. But we did appreciate that. Who knows? The one thing, if it is a Roman Brock situation, we have seen it before many times, but not in this dynamic. And now you have Paul Heyman in the middle, which could be intriguing.
And that would be the big thing. Like if it would mean that Heyman is turned on Roman to bring Brock in to dethrone Roman, which kind of makes no sense because you're already the champion. Like,
right.
You're already managing the champion. You want to manage a different champion? Like, I don't know what the logic would be there.
I mean, Heyman teasing it is where I have a problem with it, because I think it'd be great if they're going to go this route.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want it, but if they're going to go this route, Brock just shows up. And then Heyman's like, oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah. Oh, hey, buddy.
But not promote him ahead of time at the expense of the guy that you're already helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that to me is a little bit odd there. But I think Brock would bring in some ratings. Not a lot. They're not going to double. They're not going to triple.
No.
But I do think they go up because I do know a lot of people that love Brock Lesnar. And I think I like Brock because I hold on to the memories. Yeah. The old days, you know, like I once was so excited. Like I was there when Suplex City was born against John Cena.
Yes.
I was there and I thought it was the greatest thing ever, not realizing that was the end of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Of him actually wrestling.
No. I remember watching it and feeling uncomfortable because you guys were watching it live. And I'm like, ooh, but you're right. That is the moment that Brock Lesnar stopped wrestling in a ring.
Yeah. I mean, here you go. Nathan right here is a good example. Brock is disliked, but I'll always love him. If he returns, I'll return. You
know who we do not need? Goldberg.
Nathan. Yeah. And well, Dante brings up another one. Goldberg still has a 2021 match in his contract to fulfill. Rumors that it could be Bobby Lashley Goldberg at SummerSlam.
Then it better be Spear full Nelson over. Spear jackhammer.
It's funny. You know, as Casimir says, he's heard Goldberg versus Lashley SummerSlam. We just brought that up. Mm-hmm. I'd like to switch that. If you're bringing Lesnar in, let Heyman work with Roman and Brock, and maybe Roman gets offended by that eventually. That could be a fun storyline. And then Brock takes on Lashley, gets us that match we finally wanted. And if Goldberg's back, let Roman beat him.
It's two different shows. So the argument would be that Heyman's argument would be that he's repping Roman, you know, on SmackDown and repping Brock on Raw. And as long as those clients don't conflict, there's no conflict of interest.
But Roman being the tribal chief,
the head of the table,
he may not like that, and that leads to a little bit of dissension.
Yep, like it's okay for a little while, and then it starts to be a little bit more.
Exactly. And Goldberg versus Roman makes sense because Goldberg's actually coming in as a face against a real heel this time.
No, for sure.
Not somebody that's necessarily being cheered. Like the Fiend was a bad guy, but yet people were cheering him.
Yes.
And if Roman would go over, oh man, even better for the character, the ego.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. This might be our next bet with Casimir right here. If Goldberg's announced for SummerSlam, we'll talk about this here. Now, WWE may also think that bumps ratings. Hey, let's give Goldberg the belt again.
I would hope ratings would go lower. I'm talking like 0.9.
And then there's comments here. Jason says that Seth Rollins going to interfere in Money in the Bank with Edge, and it'll be Edge and Seth at SummerSlam. I can see that. I don't think it's going to be for the championship, but Roman's on fire right now. I would not drop that belt off of him unless you have one hell of a storyline planned.
No, absolutely.
You got to earn that victory, not cheat your way. Don't be a face with the Money in the Bank. Nothing.
No.
That's just me, though.
It's been too long. You can't do this story and then do it the injustice of a cheap face victory.
I mean, SmackDown had a rough week last week, but overall, SmackDown's been consistent. So Roman's not going to get that blame if ratings aren't doing well.
Yeah.
The Raw main event is not doing well. And I don't think that's a Lashley thing, but you just haven't built up any strong competitors. Like,
no, not right now.
It's just been Drew McIntyre versus heel for a year now.
No, absolutely.
And then you can't be like, oh, Kofi Kingston's your number one contender and expect us after 2 years of tagging to buy it again.
Yeah, to buy that he's back. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that said, there's also people bringing up Uso over the limit.
Oh,
his second DUI in 2 years, and I believe fourth and four.
I think fourth.
Maybe, I don't know, but I know there are people that are pissed at Jimmy. I'm not
Yeah.
one of them. I'm scared for him.
Yep.
He obviously has an issue. There are demons there he cannot kick.
Yes.
And any attempt to get help, I don't know how much he has or hasn't, but any attempt that he may have made has not worked.
No, I mean, there's two different things here. Where like one is obviously Jimmy Uso, the wrestler, and Jimmy Uso, the person.
Mm-hmm.
Person, I think we agree there's an issue. Something he needs help. The wrestler, the character, man, how do you screw that up? Like, you're in the main event storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that that's not like, hey, I'm in the main event, I'm going to go drinking. You feel bad because he screwed that up. Like, I just can't imagine, throwing something like that away. Because at some point, you'd have to think the company is not going to put up with 4 DUIs in 4 years or whatever it is. 4 DUIs in 5, 2 in the last 2. That's a lot. That's honestly the most I remember from any wrestler in memory that I can think of off the top of my head.
I want to know, Swagger had some issues. I mean, there's been enough, but I'm just thinking, like Brian Christopher, Brian Lawler, so many years ago, was busted trying to smuggle weed into Canada or out of Canada or something, and he got punished for it. For that. And this, will Jimmy actually get punished for it? There's all these rumors and reports that WWE hasn't decided what they're going to do. They've already recorded Raw next week. Maybe even SmackDown's already been recorded. I'm not quite sure. I know they're getting ready for the touring, so there have been tapings. And so maybe they're just waiting to decide after that. But a lot of people believe there'll be nothing, that he'll just continue on TV without any issues. And it's tough. I mean, he probably already knows he's screwed up.
I mean, the issue is, comparing to the Lawler thing, whatever you feel about weed, it's still illegal. Whereas booze,
well, and especially at that time, it wasn't legal anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, this was.
But drinking and driving is not legal either.
No, that's what I'm saying. But alcohol is at least legal, whereas weed is not. That's the only difference I was making.
I'm just saying, though, I just try to remember the incident where, Lawler, I remember Jerry the King Lawler was very upset that he goes, this isn't a big deal. Why are you punishing him? I remember there was a big brouhaha over that. This, I think the brouhaha should be less about Jimmy and the number or him getting punished, but rather getting help.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs time off the road. Maybe he needs 6 months off the road, not as punishment, but to collect himself again. Like, that's where I am. And you could tell, like, if this was 15 years ago on this website when we first started, I've been like, fire that asshole.
Yeah.
But now I'd like to think I've grown a little bit, and I just don't want to see him self-destruct or accidentally kill himself with this.
Yeah. I mean, 4 DUIs. The fact that he didn't hurt anyone or himself. Because you imagine you've been pulled over 4. Lord knows how many times you've actually drank and drove.
Right. You've only been caught 4 times.
4. So I mean, the fact that he hasn't hurt himself or somebody else is, I mean, it's amazing, really.
Yeah.
And thankfully he hasn't hurt himself or anybody else. But dude needs help. I mean, and WWE sponsors rehab. We hear about all of the former stars that have taken WWE on their offer for just that. Hell, even people that have been in other companies, WWE has still been willing to help them out. So when it comes to that, I just hope that Jimmy is able to get that help. Great. I don't know why I didn't think of this, but Jason, Jeff Hardy. That's exactly what I was about to say, is that there was a time with Jeff Hardy where they were like, look, you're off TV unless you get help. Or out of the company unless you get help. And we're very close to that part.
Supposedly, Uso caught blowing a red light, according to police reports. Could have been much worse. Absolutely. This is where WWE's in a tight spot. Do they let this keep going? Do they not punish him because of everything? Because let's say a 5th one happens. Hypothetically, a 5th one happens, and an innocent bystander is critically injured or killed.
Yep.
The PR around, well, WWE didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Would be massive.
Yes.
I mean, WWE and wrestling's already blamed for so much anyway.
Yep.
Now you add this. I mean, it's a tough spot for everybody. I think if they could just talk to Jimmy, see what he needs. Maybe he doesn't even know what he needs, but send him to detox. You know, give him that tough love. He may not be happy with it, but take him off TV for a while. Not as punishment, but just, hey, we value you as a human being.
Yeah.
Get some help. We're going to help you. We're going to pay for it. We're going to send you here.
Yeah.
Take it seriously. Because whatever he's been doing hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for WWE that they're in this tough spot of, we want to help, but we need to punish, but we don't want to punish.
Yeah. But we need him on TV because it's main storyline and, you know, Roman's champ. Yeah.
And this is a good point here too, Casimir. I thought it was 3 strikes in WWE. There's been a lot of occurrences of people that have screwed up, and once they've hit that third one, they're out.
Yep. I think it all depends what they consider a strike.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right.
There's probably it's a hard and fast rule, I bet, like where they can just decide what they want to do.
Right. I tried telling Devon, because the Wrestling Audio socials had posted about Jimmy Uso, and I was asked to remove it because probably thought it was going to attract a lot of bad attention or whatnot. Yeah. But I was trying to tell him that, at least from my end, I would like to open up this discussion about how do you move forward? How do you help this individual? And try to open up that communication rather than jumping the gun and getting mad at him. Yeah. When obviously he's mad at himself for something. Yeah. There's a self-destruction happening. He's probably aware of it. So that was fun back and forth right there. How about a lighter topic? How about something a little bit happier?
Oh, right.
Hangman's journey. Have you seen the big thing online about this?
No, I don't think so.
The long-term booking for Hangman.
Way to go, Jay.
A Twitter user decided to basically recap Hangman's 2 years in AEW to the point where even Hangman Page is like, "Oh, great, that's pretty easy to, you know," kind of like sarcastically saying, "Thanks, buddy."
Yeah, thanks. That's great.
But a long-term booking now that he's gone toe-to-toe with skinny Triple H from 2002 over in AEW. That's Kenny Omega, by the way, with his mutton chef. Yes. Not telling you, I know you know, but anybody else that may not get what we're saying. Hangman comes over, and, you know, even if you go back even further, that he wasn't really a part of the elite. I mean, he was friends with those guys. Yeah. And then they invited him in, but he wasn't really a part of the group. He's not a VP in the company like the rest of them are. And then he comes in and basically watches all of his other friends turn on him or not support him, between the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and then the Dark Order, you know, tries to embrace him, tries to bring him in, and he likes them as friends, but he never wants to join because he fails groups. Yeah. And so he's doing that. And basically this whole long story of 2 years is Hangman's not happy. Hangman basically has lost his smile. And basically the only thing that'll make him happy is that redemption in that world championship picture. And I'm like, holy shit, that's good.
Yeah, right.
I'm really condensing this, by the way. If you go step by step, it is very well done. It talks about the drinking, and that's when Omega had enough of him, and just stuff like that. Again, almost like a self-destruction. Yeah. But he's just unhappy. So the whole 2 years that Hangman's been in AEW, it's been a long character arc of what will make him happy. Yeah. Where's his happy spot?
No, I
I'm just like, that is freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
I wish everybody had 2 year long stories like that.
And I mean, you look at it where he competed for the first AEW world title against Jericho. Jericho won it.
Came up short. Yep.
And he went lower, and then he went to the tag, and he was a tag champ with Omega for, like a year. Mm-hmm. And then that dissolved and broke up, and then he went lower again. And
And now he sees that Omega is the world champion.
Yep.
So,
now to come all the way back around to be able to compete for the title against your former tag partner.
As Donkey would say, he's like an onion. There's a lot of layers to him.
There's a lot of layers. Yeah.
There's a lot of layers. And I think that's brilliant. And I hadn't even thought about that. I'm thinking, okay, Orange Cassidy's got to be that guy to dethrone Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, no, maybe not.
No, I'm thinking it's Hangman. I think it has to be.
And that's a good story. So kudos to AEW. If they planned it or not, kudos to them for at least being able to put all this together into something amazing.
Yeah.
And with that said, last thing I got to wrap things up because, we have...
It's still not the Hangman. There it is.
Yeah. I had like 3 different buttons to push, man, and they're different sections. All right, so I can't really do the weirdness of the NW. I tried. I didn't have enough time before doing this, so this is the best I got. I hope somebody's like just streaming us right now. Like, there's something wrong with your screen there, guys.
It's a little schmutz all over here.
The New World Order this week, 25 years ago, debuted. Hogan turning on the crowd, delivering that leg drop, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could argue maybe the Four Horsemen. You could obviously argue the Oddities. But is there a group that is, more influential in pro wrestling than NWO?
The Hurt Business.
The current 2 version.
Yeah, just those guys. Too sweet.
We're like, man, my monitor's really dirty.
Right? No, I agree, though. I mean, you would have to say the NWO is the most influential faction. Yes, I mean, the Freebirds, the Four Horsemen, there's arguments for many. But in modern pro wrestling, there's no one more influential than the NWO. I
would go as far as to say of all time. Any era. I mean, each era has their own for so many different reasons. But, people are like, oh, DX. But I don't think that attitude would have been embraced as much had the NWO not been as successful immediately as it was.
Yep. I agree.
And there's a lot of weirdness with NWO discussions and fights with the different versions. The NWO at its latest, not very good. when everybody except for Sting, everybody except for Goldberg and Diamond Dallas Page were a part of the group.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's part of why it's so influential. Like, no, I agree.
Yeah.
If there was no NWO, DX wouldn't have got the shot it did at all.
DX is up there, but they wouldn't have embraced like the nudity and all of the curse words that DX did. That wouldn't have worked, or nobody would have even thought about doing it had the attitude of the NWO not been there.
I mean, you literally took 6 and put him in DX.
But I mean, it's, the outsiders are one thing, but Hogan to turn is, it's easy to look back on 25 years ago and be like, oh, what a great moment. That was unheard of there. It's like John Cena being turned in 2013. It wasn't going to happen, but it had happened.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And, I mean.
Yeah, I'll go back to normal.
Now my eyes are like.
But I'll still keep the flashing graphic, though.
Do we need to, does this show need a warning about, seizures or epilepsy?
If that's what you're focused in on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
But notice even I did this black and white show. I had this planned.
Yeah, no, there was I like how the little N, big W, little O. Yeah, you totally went all in with it.
I thought about doing my NW Mo shirt too, but I'm like, that's too much. That's too much.
I mean, but speaking of the shirts, there was an article, a couple weeks ago or so where Scott Hall was like, I still live off residuals from the NWO t-shirt. That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, really, influential, there would be no Blue World Order without the New World Order.
I mean, the fun fact here, if Hogan didn't want to do it, the backup plan was Sting.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have been as eventful either.
No.
LWO and BWO, if you start going there.
Yeah.
If you want to go to WWE's socials, they actually did an homage that a bunch of stars with their NWO gear.
Yeah.
Either doing a Scott Hall with the toothpick or just doing something else. It was really cool. I did appreciate the LWO did have an appearance with Ray and Dominic.
Ah, that makes sense.
Which is cool to see Dominic in it. I think Ray's cheating because he was actually in WCW during this.
Yeah, but was he in LWO though? I don't think he was. Right?
No, but he was like this should all to me be new next generation people.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's my thought on it, but it is a really cool go through. The New Day has a blast with it. Liv Morgan has a blast with it. I'm a little disappointed with Asuka. I figured she'd have like her black squiggles.
If anyone has spray paint, it's Asuka.
Right. But it's a cool little photo gallery celebrating 25 years to, again, the group that I think is the most influential in pro wrestling history. Just because nobody saw it coming.
No.
I mean, the Four Horsemen's there, and they've tried to do that different versions. And
to death. But the NWO literally changed everything.
Yeah.
About how factions work, about television, about realism, everything.
I mean, maybe it didn't start the Attitude Era, but it started the Monday Night Wars.
Yes.
This was shots fired. Go ahead, try to top this.
Yep.
And that started the back and forth. And this will be the last thing that we do right here. If WWE were to do a 2.0, which actually would be like 3.0 now because they did try to during the invasion right after to kind of, Shawn Michaels and Booker T were in it.
Yeah.
And then they tried to get Goldust, who refused to be in it.
Yes.
Who would the three guys be? NWO 2.0 today.
Okay, so does that mean are we taking it literal, where it's literally like two guys from another company come over and a top star, or are we just picking three guys?
I guess let's bring over two from another company.
Two from another company. I mean, I almost feel like it has to be I think the Young Bucks coming over.
Yep.
Would be crazy. See, and I want to immediately put them with AJ Styles, but that's too
people
obvious.
start cheering that.
Yeah, that would be so obvious that people be like, yes, of course.
Hey, Bullet Club.
Yeah.
You know who I was thinking with the Young Bucks? Just because it would piss people off if you're a fan of Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah.
Because Orton against the super kick parties and all this online, all of a sudden U-turns and embraces it. The Orton diehards would be pissed.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good one. I was thinking Roman, but I think Orton's better. That would definitely be better, I think.
See, a lot of people talk about the Good Brothers and AJ, talk about Adam Cole. All of those people we will cheer.
Yeah,
and I think if you're going to do an NWO, don't be cool about it.
No.
Piss people off.
And all those people make sense.
Yeah.
You have to remember, NWO, this was back when we didn't know anything.
Yeah, apparently, Hall and Nash had rarely even ever spoken to Hogan at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we all have previous knowledge of all those guys' time in Japan together. We would all see that coming a mile away.
Yeah.
This one, you would need a Young Bucks and an Orton, guys who nothing to do with one another at all.
Edge.
I was thinking Edge would be good too.
That'd be a fun one. That would be a fun one right there. Even Cena at this point with anybody is kind of copycat off of Hogan.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you would need somebody to piss off. Yeah. I mean, and Orton's good at pissing people off. He's a good guy right now, but he knows how to get under people's skin.
True.
Yeah, so that's who I would pick anyway. But Edge is a great suggestion as well. Not to say everybody else picking AJ or Adam Cole is wrong. It's just you said, we would probably cheer that. And I don't know if a new world order comes in, I don't want to cheer it. I want to boo them.
Yeah, right.
At least at first, and then I'll probably cheer them because I'm difficult like that. But
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening to the pair of you. Caught us just in time. We got to go.
Yeah.
But the show's available on demand as soon as we wrap this up, so you can go back and don't need to clean off your lens, buddy. The NWO thing was us. Okay.
It's totally us. Yeah.
Yeah. At Wrestling Audio on all the socials, at Mo Lightning on all the socials, Twitter, I think it's at Ballz V2.
Yep.
Ballz with the Z.
With a Z.
Because it's got street cred.
Damn right.